All right, so we're to that time where Yamcha's right around the corner, and you might be wondering whether or not he's actually worth your stones. I would say this kind of video is more geared towards newer players who are trying to decide what units are worth it for them to add to their box. I will say that a lot of veteran players know exactly what they want. So if they really want this Yamcha and Yajirobe, which I will have to say right now that they're two very busted units on the categories that they're on. While they're very good and very busted, they're not on very many categories, so they are limited in a way, even though the units themselves are pretty good. But the rest of the banner is not that great. This Captain Ginyu's really good, but you need to surround him with his banner units, a Goldo and Raccoon unit, and also a Birder and Jace unit, which you absolutely need for this Captain Ginyu to be as busted as he is. He's still good without them, but he's not complete without them either. So even though he would be a good unit to have, without his banner units, it's just not a complete team with him on it. But he does have a pretty good leader skill, so he has that going for him. You have this Trunks, who's pretty outdated at this point. This Frieza's pretty outdated as well. Still pretty good units. And then this Goku, even with his Easy A, he can be used in some situations, but the units that, you know, have the multiple transformations throughout the fight, they're definitely outdated. They're not very useful anymore because we are getting away, or we have gotten away from the long event metas, or the long event meta in the game, where the legendary Goku and Vegeta event were the thing to beat at the time. But now we have a little bit shorter events in Red Zone, and also a few new ones on JP that haven't come to global yet. So that is something to consider when you're wanting to know if you want to actually summon on this banner. The overall banner value, let's see, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 featured SSRs on this banner. 2 very good units, so 2 out of the 7s, but once again, they're on limited categories. So that is something to consider when making the decision to decide if you actually want to summon on this banner. You're not getting very much value in the overall banner right here. I will tell you that right now. But let's go ahead and take a look at the actual units themselves. This Yamcha right here, he's leading Earthbred Fighters or Saiyan Saga. And if we take a look at both of those categories, this is it right here. Earthbred Fighters, it's a pretty strong category. I mean, you've got this LR EZA Gohan, the LR EZA God Goku, basically every Goku in the game, because he's an Earthbred fighter, or Warriors Raised on Earth. I like that one better. They changed it to Earthbred Fighters, or translated it that way into English. Warriors Raised on Earth was the Japan meaning of it, which I really like better, but we'll just call it Earthbred Fighters for the sake of this video. But yeah, it's a pretty big category. Let's see here. What is this 200% leader skill doing? So an extra 30% to HP, attack, and defense to the Earthlings or Turtle Skull category. We know Turtle Skull is actually pretty good too, because that includes all Gokus. But I'll be honest, you're not running this Yamcha beside a lot of Gokus, because some of their links will leak up, but it's here or there. And just take a look at the categories. He's on Earthbred Fighters, Saiyan Saga, Earthlings, Turtle School, Worthy Rivals, and Kamehameha. So 6 categories. Kamehameha and Earthbred Fighters are pretty big ones. Turtle School is a little bit smaller than those two, just because, you know, it does include all the Gokus, but it's a very limited selection of units, or units within that category, Turtle School, that's going to have different names. You have the Yamchas, the Krillins, the Gokus, the Roshis, and I think that's about it that's on Turtle School. So Saiyan Saga is still an up-and-coming category that needs some help. A solid one, but it definitely needs more units to make it more of a concrete category that can be run all the time. And then you've got Worthy Rivals. That's a decent category. Not as solid as Saiyan Saga. It's here or there. It's definitely here or there. Worthy Rivals can be good at times, but it's definitely on the smaller end of the spectrum. So, and then we've got Earthlings, which we know is almost absolutely nothing. You've got a very little selection in Earthlings. So getting that 200% buff is a little bit difficult. The teams he can be running, like I said, he's going to be busted on him. He's going to be very, very, very good. Overall, this unit's actually pretty good when you get into the nitty gritty of everything in his kit and what's going for him. And he does deal quite a bit of damage. He has a high chance of stunning the enemy, which is good for Super Battle, Extreme Super Battle, and things like that. But the categories, man, he's lacking on categories. You're not going to be using a whole lot just because of the limit he has on what teams he can be ran on. On top of that, his link skills, they're good. They're not great, they're good. He's definitely a unit you don't want to chase. I would not recommend summoning on this banner and chasing after him for sure. Now, they're probably going to put discounts, maybe. I would say if you wanted to go for the discounts, that'd be fine, especially if you're a veteran player. But newer players, I would just totally skip this banner because you're not getting a whole lot of value in the units that are on the banner. And as a new player, you're trying to fill your box with units that you can actually use to, you know, start building your account, to start, you know, getting more challenging events done and stuff like that. So if you are a newer player trying to build your box with characters that you can essentially use all the time, this is not the banner to summon on for sure. You really don't have that kind of value in it. And I would also tell veteran players to kind of shy away from this, but discounts I think should be fine. If you really want this Yamcha and Yajirobe but still want to save for the anniversary, I think discounts are a good way to go if there are any. And then of course you have the Yajirobe too. He's a very, very good banner unit. One of the best, if not the best banner unit there is. He massively raises defense for one turn on his super attack, and he's sealing the enemy's super attack. The thing that makes him really, really good is he's providing all allies key +1 and attack and defense plus 30% support. So he's giving support to everyone on the team on the categories he can be ran on. But once again, as you can take a look, he's only on 4 categories. So you're not going to be running him on very many teams. You're not going to be getting a whole lot of use out of him, realistically speaking. That's the main highlight of this unit. He's giving all allies support with key and also attack and defense. And then he gives a plus an additional key +1 and attack and defense plus 20% for all allies for 3 turns, plus an additional defense plus 120% when the character is the third to obtain key spheres in a turn. So essentially a 3rd slot unit. So he's perfect. That part of his kit is perfect synergy. He's giving all allies key +1 and attack and defense plus 20%. Off rotation as a 3rd slot unit. There's not any other unit that I can think of, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but there's not any other unit that I can think of that actually does that actually gives support off rotation. That makes him one of the best support units in the game, if not the best support. I would say one of the best just because his categories are very, very limited. Just the limited categories is what's killing this Yajirobe and also that Yamcha. It's what's killing the value that they actually truly bring to a Dokkan player's account. Once again, very busted units, very, very good units for what they do, and their kits are just unimaginably powerful and very, very useful, but you're not going to be using them that often. We have the anniversary coming around the corner. I believe there's going to be one more Dokkanfest before the anniversary arrives. So my overall recommendation for veteran players, if there are discounts, go for the discounts, but I would not go any deeper than that in this banner. If you are a new player, I think this is an easy skip. I don't think you should summon at all. I don't think you should use any stones at all. That's my overall recommendation.